the unthinkable has happened. Starmer's fall and the rise of reform, what once seemed impossible, has become reality. Keir Starmer, once hailed as Labour's saviour, has suffered a catastrophic political collapse. Sources report he broke down in tears behind closed doors, overwhelmed by defections, internal rebellion, and an alarming collapse in public support. The trigger, a political earthquake in the Roonorn and Helsby by-election, Reform UK under Nigel Farage's leadership seized the Labour stronghold by just 25 votes, the narrowest victory margin in British by-election history. But this wasn't just a local upset, it was a national shockwave. Farage's triumph delivered a clear message. Britain is growing tired of the two-party duopoly. What was once dismissed as a fringe movement is now a serious threat to the political establishment. In the wake of the defeat, Labour began to unravel. Disillusioned MPs defected to Reform UK, accusing Starmer of abandoning working-class values in favour of technocratic centrism. The backlash has been fierce. Lifelong Labour voters, already furious over cuts to winter fuel payments and disability benefits, now feel betrayed. They watch MPs draw bloated salaries and preach grown-up politics, while pensioners freeze and disabled citizens are told to cut back. What began as whispers of discontent within Labour has turned into open revolt. Several backbench MPs have jumped ship, praising Reform UK as the only party still listening to ordinary people. Insiders say Starmer's tears weren't just about losing one seat, but about what it symbolised. The beginning of Labour's collapse in its once impregnable heartlands. Under mounting pressure from MPs threatening a leadership challenge, Starmer reluctantly called a snap general election, not as a bold move, but as a desperate act of survival. His authority is shattered, and Labour now faces a full-blown identity crisis. But Labour isn't alone in its downfall. The Conservative Party is also crumbling, having lost 13 councils and over 600 seats in the latest local elections. Kemi Badenoch is struggling to hold the fractured Tory ranks together. Both major parties now face the same existential threat: the surging momentum of Reform UK. Westminster is in disarray. For the first time in a generation, a genuine political revolution is underway, not born of hope, but of deep despair. Inflation is crushing families, wages are stagnant, and public trust in government has collapsed. NHS waiting lists are at record highs, crime is rising, and home ownership is slipping out of reach. And yet, from Labour to the Tories, voters hear the same empty promises. Then comes Nigel Farage, unscripted, unpolished, and unapologetically blunt. His authenticity cuts through the noise. He is saying what millions feel, but no one else dares to say. Reform UK is no longer just a protest vote. It's a political force shaking the foundations of British democracy. Across the country, a political realignment is underway, uniting disillusioned Labour voters, frustrated Conservatives, and the forgotten centre ground. These are ordinary people who feel ignored and betrayed. Britain isn't just approaching another general election. It's standing at the edge of a generational transformation. Keir Starmer's grand attempt to be all things to all people has backfired disastrously. In chasing every demographic, he has lost Labour's sense of identity and direction. Once seen as a steady hand, Starmer is now the face of a collapsing movement, engulfed in rebellion, defections, and crumbling public trust. The snap general election he called isn't a bold play, it's political triage. The tipping point came with the historic by-election loss in Runcorn and Helsby, a seat Labour once considered untouchable. Reform UK won by the slimmest margin, but the shockwave was seismic. What followed was a cascade of defections, plunging poll numbers, and open revolt from within Labour ranks. Stripped of authority and internal support, Starmer gambled everything on an early election, less a strategy than a last-ditch attempt to survive. But this crisis is bigger than Labour. Both major parties are now facing systemic collapse. The political ground beneath Westminster is shifting fast, and Reform UK is seizing the moment, not with slick slogans or elite endorsements, but with plain talk and unfiltered anger. Their message resonates especially with working-class voters who've suffered most from stagnant wages, broken public services, and a political class that no longer listens. Reform's power lies in its blunt authenticity. Whether you agree with them or not, they've tapped into the nation's raw, frustrated mood, a sense of betrayal and hunger for change that traditional parties can no longer ignore. Meanwhile, Labour continues to self-destruct. One of the most damaging scandals emerged when Labour MP Lucy Powell, during a BBC Radio 4 discussion, appeared to trivialise a Channel 4 documentary about grooming gangs. When panellist Tim Montgomery referenced the abuse of 5 women, Powell sarcastically responded, "Oh, we want to blow that little trumpet now, do we? Let's get that dog whistle out." The backlash was immediate. Critics accused her of downplaying child exploitation and protecting Labour's image over victims' trauma. Though she later apologised, saying she failed to express herself clearly, the damage was done. This controversy wasn't just about one remark. It revealed a wider perception of Labour as out of touch, elitist, and more concerned with optics than substance. As Labour reels and the Tories stumble, Reform UK is rising through the cracks. Britain isn't just voting, it's revolting. The question facing Britain is no longer if change is coming, but how far it will go. As Reform UK continues its rapid rise, fueled by frustration over ignored issues, the backlash against Labour deepens, especially in the wake of Lucy Powell's controversial remarks on grooming gangs. Despite Powell's public apology, many voters remain unforgiving. Her appearance on BBC Radio 4's Any Questions reignited national outrage and exposed growing cracks in Labour's credibility on sensitive issues. During the programme, Powell dismissively responded to commentator Tim Montgomery's reference to a Channel 4 documentary exposing the abuse of 5 women by grooming gangs. Her remark, "Oh, we want to blow that little trumpet now, do we? Let's get that dog whistle out, shall we?" sparked condemnation across the political spectrum. Critics, said Powell's words, trivialized child sexual exploitation and discouraged honest discussion. Tim Montgomery responded, arguing that conversations around grooming are too often shut down by accusations of racism, creating a culture of fear and silence. He warned that Powell's dismissiveness wasn't just offensive, it represented a wider political reluctance to confront uncomfortable truths. Conservative Party co-chair Nigel Huddleston condemned the comments as part of a broader pattern of Labour evasion. He accused the party of backtracking on promises to investigate grooming gangs and protecting councils under Labour control from scrutiny. Huddleston called for a full statutory public